Hello and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hello, coming up on the programme.
She turned her husband's violent death into a tireless campaign for the victims of crime. Reaction as Baroness Helen Newlove dies at the age of 63.
Getting her life back, we catch up with Lauren Bolton at home in Lancashire after that life-changing operation on her jaw.
She's back. Former Manchester United and England goalie Mary Earps returns for an historic night at Old Trafford.
Join me later in the programme. I will be live from Lapland, in fact, with a very special guest.
Welcome to Lapland.
And some of us were lucky enough last night to get a bit of a view of the Northern Lights. But will we be lucky enough for some clear skies tonight? I have all the details later on.
So first tonight, she described herself as an ordinary mum from Warrington, forced into the limelight by the murder of her husband.
But tonight, there are so many tributes coming in for Baroness Helen Newlove, who died at the age of 63.
And it's difficult to forget this chilling footage you can see now of her husband Gary moments before he was kicked to death by a gang outside their home, witnessed by their daughters.
It was something she wanted people to see to highlight what was happening on our streets.
Well, despite her grief, Helen spoke up powerfully for people affected by crime. She went on to be appointed Victims Commissioner and later entered the House of Lords.
At Westminster for us now, our political correspondent Leisha McNally. Leisha, the passing of a remarkable woman.
Yeah, that's right. I think few people have ever turned personal tragedy into such a life of service as Baroness Newlove. She may have always insisted she was just an ordinary woman, a wife and a mother, but I think it's undeniable she achieved some pretty extraordinary things here in Westminster and beyond. Having lived through that pretty unimaginable horror of watching her husband being fatally beaten outside their home, she turned mourning into a movement, working to tackle the antisocial behaviour, youth violence and binge drinking culture which she says contributed to her husband's attack. Over the last 2 decades, she campaigned for tougher sentences for the most serious offences and better support for victims and the bereaved, work which eventually saw her being elevated to the House of Lords and named Victims Commissioner. Now, in that job, she advised the government on all aspects of the criminal justice system that affect victims and witnesses, and she really shaped the role in the years that she held it. She was a defender of the underdog. She took that duty extremely seriously. Just a few weeks ago, she wrote to ministers calling for better support of victims of the Post Office Horizon scandal and raising her concerns about the ongoing compensation scheme. Whatever she worked on over the years, the government she advised and challenged knew she was never afraid to speak her mind.
She never was, Leash. And a tribute tonight from the man who actually appointed Helen Newlove to the role of Victims Commissioner.
Yeah, that's right. The former Prime Minister David Cameron has tonight remembered her as wonderful, warm, brave and plain-speaking, saying she lived a life of service to her community, to the country and to Parliament, but most of all, service to victims of crime to make sure they got a proper hearing and a better deal. It was, he said, a privilege to meet her. And he added, "My thoughts and heartfelt condolences are with Helen's husband Paul and her daughters Zoe, Danielle and Amy. Helen leaves a legacy that they and we all can be proud of." Now, we expect even more tributes to emerge as this news filters through Parliament, but it will come as a real shock to many. Helen was only 63 and she hadn't been ill for a very long time. She was a very familiar face here. She was Deputy Speaker of the House of Lords and she was seemingly universally admired. She's being remembered tonight by people from all political parties as a tireless campaigner who fought for all victims and did so until the very end.
Absolutely, Leisha. Thank you very much indeed. A remarkable woman and an incredible legacy. Thoughts with her family this evening. Well, next, the generosity of our viewers helped to raise almost £100,000 for an operation which gave a young woman her life back.
Yes, Lauren Bolton from Rosendale in Lancashire has lived with chronic pain for half her life. Pain from a degenerative condition affecting her jaw, which made basic things like eating and talking a huge ordeal.
Well, a few weeks ago, our cameras were there as Lauren went to a hospital in London for surgery. We promised to update you on how it went.
Yeah, and we like to keep our promises here. Our correspondent Mel Barham now has the latest on Lauren's road to recovery.
How do you thank somebody for giving you your daughter back? Because that's what they've done.
It was the generosity of complete strangers that paid for an operation that Lauren says has now transformed her life. After 15 years battling to get help on the NHS, Granada viewers helped pay for a private operation in London. The 31-year-old had been living in constant pain, unable to eat solid food, when we featured her story on Granada Reports last February. Finally diagnosed with end-stage degenerative arthritis in her jaw, she was looking at a wait of 4 years for a jaw joint replacement on the NHS, until viewers helped her raise almost £100,000 to go private.
I was so detached from everything that day. It just felt so surreal. I mean, there's been years and years and years of wanting this. I felt almost like I wasn't there and it wasn't kind of happening.
Walking you down to theatre makes me cry. Yeah, that was tough, leaving you at them doors.
Her diseased jaw joint was removed and replaced with a titanium prosthetic hinge.
So it's now day 2. I've come off the high dependency unit. I'm on a normal ward. And we're still working to get my pain under control. I am in a lot of pain this morning. It's now day 3. Very swollen and bruised. A lot of pain where obviously it's been under pressure during the night.
2 weeks on, the bandages are off and Lauren is back home.
How are you?
Yeah, really good. So much better than I thought I'd be at this point. Doing really, really well. That horrific kind of dull ache in the joints that I had before is completely gone.
And how does that feel?
Amazing, obviously, but there's been moments where I've been sat there thinking, I'm completely pain-free right now. And it feels so surreal. Like, it's almost like I have to check my pulse and make sure I'm still here. Like, it's something that I never ever thought that I'd experience again. I really didn't.
There is still some swelling and Lauren is still in some post-op pain, but she's hoping physio will help improve that.
So I'm using a device called the Aura Stretch to try and get my opening wider, relax the muscles, try and reduce that muscular pain that I'm feeling now. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned and as far as my surgeon's concerned, the future is looking a lot brighter than it did. Yeah.
In fact, so much brighter, she's finally starting to eat solid food after years of being on a liquid diet.
So it's first time you've had a strawberry?
Yeah. Okay.
How does it feel when you're eating?
It feels a bit strange because obviously I only have like the open and closed, but there's no pain whatsoever.
No pain at all?
No.
That's incredible.
No.
That's amazing. I never thought I'd hear you say that, ever.
I never thought I'd say that.
Now that you've had that surgery, there must be all sorts of emotions that you're feeling.
Yeah, a lot of grief for all the years that I lost. Things could have been different and I could have been listened to and I could have been helped earlier and, you know, maybe it didn't have to get as bad as it got before I got help. And a lot of frustration and anger at there's so many other people out there that are struggling the way that I did. But more than anything, I'm just so grateful.
Lauren says she now wants to advocate for others to fight for better awareness and help on the NHS.
The more I recover, the more work that I want to do now in terms of making a difference and trying to get things changed for those people, because I shouldn't have gone through what I went through, but there's so many other people in a similar position.
But for Lauren and her family, there is one word above everything that they want to say.
Thank you will never be enough, because how do you find the words to thank the people that have taken your life from being completely unbearable, no hope? I was, looking at whether I was eligible for euthanasia to where I am now. Like, there are no words for that. There really isn't.
So it's a small word with the biggest meaning.
Yeah.
And saying every day we'll be grateful and thankful for each and every one of them people.
Yeah.
Mel Barham, ITV News, Rossendale.
Just great to see her smiling again.
Isn't it? Incredible.
Absolutely lovely. And remember, it was your generosity and kindness that helped change Lauren's life. So thank you from all of us too.
Yeah, absolutely. We always knew our viewers had a kind heart, so thank you. Now, a trial has begun of 3 teenagers accused of murdering a 14-year-old boy in front of his brothers. Ibrahima Sek died in North Manchester earlier this year.
His parents described him as funny, caring and hard-working, while his head teacher said he had 100% school attendance.
The defendants, 2 14-year-olds and a 17-year-old, can't be named because of their ages. Well, Anna Yosef is at Manchester Crown Court, and Anna, some harrowing footage was shown in court of this incident.
That's right, Andy. You know, a large number of Ibrahima's family and friends were present in court today, and many of them look visibly distressed as they heard and saw that footage being played. The court heard how Ibrahima had been walking with his brothers and some friends to play football at a park in New Moston when they encountered the 3 defendants. What followed was some sort of confrontation, during which boy B, who's now 17, allegedly handed a knife to boy A, who's still only 14. The prosecution say, along with boy C, all 3 then chased Ibrahima. He slipped and fell, and as he lay on the ground, boy A stabbed him, assisted and encouraged by the other 2 defendants. Ibrahima later died in hospital from a single stab wound to the chest. We were also shown a video which boy A is believed to have filmed just hours after the incident. In it, he's rapping and boasts, "We just done a murder," before turning the camera around and showing boy B on the sofa.
And Anna, do we have any idea why on earth this happened?
Well, Elaine, the trial's only just opened, so we haven't heard much about motive at this stage, but we were told that the 3 defendants had been part of a group threatening Ibrahima, his family and his friendship group, and the prosecution said that was the catalyst for why the 3 defendants chased him down and killed him. They all deny murder and manslaughter. Now, 2 women who are in their late 30s are also appearing on trial with the defendants. They're accused of assisting an offender, a charge they deny, and the case continues.
Yosef at Manchester Crown Court, thank you.
Next, Merseyside Police have confirmed they'll be obtaining full transcripts of a public inquiry into the Southport attacks after the killer's parents admitted they may have been able to prevent his crimes. The force previously launched an investigation into those who failed to prevent the killer from murdering 3 young girls and injuring 10 others. The force says they'll assess all of the evidence in search of any new information.
A dad from Liverpool who set up a foundation in his son's name to provide defibrillators has been awarded an OBE.
Mr. Mark King for services to public health.
Mark King's son Oliver died from a cardiac arrest during a school swimming lesson in 2011. Since then, Mark's worked tirelessly to install defibrillators in every school across the UK. Also being honoured today with an MBE was the Strictly presenter Tess Daly, who's from Stockport.
Well, next, they call themselves the WASPI Women, and it stands for Women Against State Pension Inequality. There are thousands of women, many of them from the Northwest, who say that 30 years ago, when the government raised the women's state pension age to 65, they failed to communicate it clearly at the time, leaving many of them badly out of pocket.
Well, yesterday, having previously refused to consider compensation for the WASPI women, the government announced it was rethinking that decision.
It's a glimmer of hope for those campaigning for just such a U-turn, including 3 sisters from Cleveleys near Blackpool. Our correspondent Anne O'Connor has been to meet them.
The WASPI women have been marching and protesting for more than a decade, saying they lost millions when the government upped their pension age, but didn't give them enough warning. The Commons yesterday heard the government's been given new evidence about that process, which may affect its decision to deny the women compensation.
We'll approach this in a transparent and fair manner. However, retaking this decision should not be taken as an indication that government will necessarily decide that it should award financial redress.
Three sisters from Cleveland in Lancashire have played a big part in the campaign for that compensation, which the Ombudsman has recommended should amount to up to £3,000.
Oh, I think it's a step in the right direction, but I think it's a delaying tactic also. We're due to go to court in 3 weeks' time, and I think it's been delayed because of that.
Most of us have still got letters to say that we would get our pension at 60 and not a letter to say that we wouldn't, you know, until very, very late in the day. And some women have really suffered and struggled.
The government would say, of course, that there's a black hole, that the budget is coming up, they have to find money for public services. They can't afford to give what we think is about £10 billion to women like yourselves.
But they've actually saved £181 billion by not paying us our pensions.
Why pick on us? That's what I'd like to know. Why are we supposed to sort the country's finances out?
All of you are not optimistic that you will win this fight, but you are determined to carry on.
We're still going to fight. So if the Labour government thinks we're going to stop, they can forget it.
You know, but we're strong women. We've worked all our lives, and we're not just going to go away quietly.
The government has not put a time on when it will conclude the investigation. More than 3.5 million women are waiting. Anne O'Connor, ITV News, Cleveland in Lancashire.
OK, it's time for sport now, and a massive night in the history of Man United's women's team, Chris.
Yeah, that's right, a very special night in store as Old Trafford hosts its first ever Women's Champions League game. United will come up against their former goalkeeper, Mary Earps, as they take on French side Paris Saint-Germain. Ahead of history being made at the Theatre of Dreams, David Chisnall has been speaking to United's captain.
Old Trafford is a football stadium steeped in history, and tonight this famous old ground will experience something new when it hosts its first ever Women's Champions League game. For Manchester United captain Maya Le Tissier, walking the team out at the Theatre of Dreams on a European stage will be a dream.
Yeah, massive. These are the games that you want to play in and that you want to be a part of, and you know, you dream to kind of play Champions League at Old Trafford. I always remember my first game walking out there, and it was amazing. Very lucky to be able to play at Old Trafford, and to play a Champions League game there is going to be extra special.
The men aren't in Europe this year, so you are representing Manchester United out there on the European stage. How important is that?
Yeah, it's good for the club, good for us as well, and that's where we want to be. We want to be playing Champions League, and as I say, like they've played so many Champions League games at Old Trafford in the men's. Now for us to be able to do it with the women's team is going to be really special, and hopefully it's the first one of many.
Well, United welcome back a familiar face this evening as goalkeeper Mary Earps returns to the club she left Manchester for last summer, Paris Saint-Germain. The former England #1 who's been in the headlines recently following the release of her book, where she's been critical of Lioness head coach Serena Wiegman and Hannah Hampton, who replaced her as England's #1.
We had a difficult relationship, but we navigated it, or I navigated it as best as I could. It was a difficult professional dynamic, but I think she's a very talented goalkeeper.
And while she'll once again be in the spotlight with her return to the club that she won the FA Cup with in 2024, her former teammates are planning a warm welcome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Mary. She was great for us. I love playing in the same team as her, and she was a great part of our success a few years back, and obviously she's gone to PSG now, and it was always going to happen, wasn't it, coming back to Old Trafford and seeing her. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
What the heck? I never thought I'd be driving a tram.
It's full steam ahead for United ahead of this game tonight, with their midfielder Ella Toone even taking over the tram announcements.
Hi, this is Ella Toone from Manchester United. Heading to the Champions League match against PSG at Old Trafford. Remember to get off at either Wharfside or Old Trafford.
Despite this being United's debut at this stage of the Champions League, they've won their opening 2 games and have big hopes for a final destination.
This is your first season in the proper Champions League, as we call it. Can you win it?
Why not? Yeah, of course, it's going to be extremely difficult. You know, it's our first time in the Champions League. And yeah, there's some very, very good teams in it. So I think we'll have to have a little bit of luck on our side to win the thing. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We love playing together as a team. Love playing for United and representing us in the Champions League. And hopefully that spirit will take us a long way.
Ahead of kick-off, there's a fan zone for supporters going to the game where they can see the Euros trophy that England retained in the summer. How United would love to follow that success this season and have their own European glory. David Chisnall, ITV News, Manchester.
Well, now on to rugby league, and Salford have been handed another reprieve as they fight to stay afloat. The Red Devils face a winding up order over an unpaid tax bill, but their case was adjourned for the 4th time today and will now be heard at the High Court on December the 3rd. Now, as we say often on this programme, there's no stopping Luke Littler. The Warrington teenager has maintained his 100% record at the Grand Slam of Darts in Wolverhampton. The reigning champion rounded off a clean sweep of group games, beating Daryl Gurney 5-2. The knockout stages start tonight with St Helens hero Michael Smith in action. Now to the American Formula One racing driver who's been taking time off the track to bring cheer to kids in a Liverpool hospital. Jack Crawford will be in Aston Martin's team next season alongside Lance Stroll and former world champion Fernando Alonso. And he's taken his new car to Alderhay Children's Hospital, where one of the patients is a racing driver too. 17-year-old Daniela Sutton from Warrington will move up to Formula 4 racing next season.
So I was admitted to Alderhay when I was 12 years old because I was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic polyarticular arthritis, and yeah, they've been so fantastic with all the treatment. Making that jump into Formula 4 for next year is going to be absolutely exhilarating. I'm so excited. And then to see Jack and to see the Aston Martin car here is just, I can see myself in that seat.
It just puts everything in perspective, of how, lucky of a life I have and how I'm able to do what I love. And I think that's a good reason to give back as well and put a smile on everyone's faces. It's, great when we're able to take pictures with kids and make everyone happy.
Yeah, well done to Jack. And we'll keep an eye on Daniela's progress too. She looks like one to watch.
She looked quite happy with that visit today, didn't she?
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant.
Great stuff.
Thanks, Chris. OK, finally, the countdown to Christmas is really on now. Just 43 days to go. We are all counting. Over in Lapland, Santa will be doing a few limbering up exercises around about now, checking the reindeer are all fit for the festive season.
Now, Lapland is officially 2,000 odd miles from here, but you can get that full Lapland experience right now, a bit closer to home.
Yeah, Lapland Live is a new attraction in Cheshire. Our correspondent Victoria Grimes is getting a bit of a preview before it opens to the public. And Victoria, first of all, where exactly are you?
Well, that is a very good question, Andy. I am in the Whispering Wood in deepest, darkest Cheshire, but I now find myself magically transported, would you believe, all the way to Lapland. Look at the snow. It's incredible. Come on, let's go and have a little look. You'll see all the beautiful snowy trees, the snowy paths, and here are Alison and Mike. Now explain to us, guys, what we're doing here and why we are here in Manchester.
I'll give that one to Alison.
OK, well, Father Christmas has told us that there are lots of helpful and kind children here in the north of England. So he wanted to find another doorway into Lapland so they can come and help the elves with their toy making.
Another doorway into Lapland. I love that. And so you have to help Santa with the toys here, Mike?
You certainly do, Vicky. I mean, the children are going to be introduced to the most incredible Christmas experience they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. But we need to make some toys, Vicky, and I heard they need all the help they can get.
Well, they made it. Oh, what's this?
Cheery hi, Alison and Mike. Cheery hi. Cheery hi, Seaman folk. We're looking for Vicky.
That's me.
Vicky, you got the call up?
I've got the call up. Alison and Mike, thank you so much for chatting to us.
Someone very special would like to meet you,
Lovely.
Vicky.
Right, let's go. Come on. Oh, being dragged away by some elves here. Goodness me, it can't be. Look who it is. Look who it is. Father Christmas himself. Father Christmas, how are you, sir?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Vicky. We are eagerly awaiting the arrival of the small folk to Lapland.
See, you've travelled a long way to be here, have you not?
Oh, yes. Well, we've been here eagerly preparing everything for the journey that the small folk will be making through our second magical doorway to Lapland.
Goodness me. And do you have a message at all for those small folk? Perhaps you'd like to share it with them?
Well, I would like to remind all the small folk to be on their very best behaviour. But remember, you don't have to be the best just so long as you always try your very best.
And that includes Sophia and Adam, my niece and nephew, who are watching at home. I hope you're taking notes here. Now, we all have to be good, I suppose. That includes me as well.
Of course, Vicky. And don't forget Andy and Elaine in the studio. That goes for you too.
Father Christmas, you've got no chance with those two, but thank you very much indeed. And here's Wish and Conquer again. Cheery highs.
We were just wondering, would you like to come and make some toys with us in the Lapland Toy Factory?
Well, I bet you've got a lot to do, so let's go for it, yes?
Absolutely.
I will.
Come
We're
on.
off. Bye-bye, Father Christmas.
Cheery bye, Father
Cheery bye. Let's make some toys. Lovely to see you guys.
I think we are always on our best behaviour.
You are, certainly. Always, aren't you, Andy?
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky and Santa. Snow in Macclesfield, but what's going to happen for the rest of us? Here's Joe.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thank you. A very good evening to you. Over the next 24 hours, low pressure will win the battle in the weather in terms of the fact we're going to see some heavy rain at times and also some rather strong winds, particularly as we close out the working week. Into this weekend, beginning to settle down, turning a little chillier with hopefully some brightness ahead. As we can see, a low pressure system down to the southwest pulling up across the UK through tonight and into tomorrow. That will produce some rather heavy rainfall for parts of the northwest through tonight and through the day tomorrow. Back to the details for this evening, and over the next few hours that rain will work its way in. A few heavy bursts, surface water and spray on the roads around midnight and just after, beginning to turn more fragmented and moving northwards as we approach dawn, with clearer skies for Greater Manchester southwards before tomorrow morning. A mild night for all of us, 10 or 11 degrees, winds picking up a touch for Irish Sea coast before dawn as that rain moves into the north of our region. On to the Sun Times. It's up at 7:33 and sets tomorrow afternoon at 16 minutes past 4. It could be a bit of a wet commute if you're in parts of North Lancashire, Cumbria and the Isle of Man tomorrow morning. Elsewhere, dry conditions, a bit of sunshine, certainly Lancashire southwards to start the day. But during the afternoon, cloud will tend to move in for most of us. It turns rather damp with hill fog forming for the Pennines, the Lakeland Fells and the Peak District through tomorrow afternoon. Bit of a dreary end to the day, but it's mild still, 13 or 14 degrees. Looking ahead to Friday, potentially rather wet and windy to end the day, and into the weekend, settling down, turning chillier and brighter.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Thanks, Joe. Still can't believe we got a name check from the big man. Very exciting. He really is watching all of us. Right, some nice news to end with tonight. A theatre in the Lake District is going to be renamed after the late comedian Victoria Wood.
Yes, the old Laundry Theatre in Bowness and Windham, it will be renamed the Victoria Wood Theatre in the new year to honour her love of the lakes. She opened it back in 1991.
She'd been made up, I'm sure. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Good night.